Hey everybody, this video is our Gen Con 2019 wrap-up.
Okay, so first we're going to jump into kind of the haul portion of our wrap-up.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a little bit smaller of a haul for us this year, but I think we had a better idea of what we were going for. And then there were just a handful of surprise haul things, either a couple of review copies. I had one impulse buy that was luckily like $8, and all of that kind of stuff. So how about the things that we knew we wanted and that we did get?
We got the Unearth expansion, Lost Tribes, and Jason and Matt signed it.
Yeah.
So that can go right next to our signed copy of the core game.
Yep, that was pretty fantastic. I got Terror Below, as well as the Unearthed Cache, Underground Cache, Surprise Cache, the expansion that was there with it, and the little monster thing, the plastic resin, or the resin, whichever it is, looks really cool. That was actually my first purchase. First day, about an hour or so after open, got in line and picked that up. So yeah.
My first purchase was Parks. I swung by and got that. And I did watch a little bit of a demo before buying the game, and that just, I was already planning on getting it, and watching the demo, I was like, I am like 1000% sold. I am getting this game. It looks really fun, and I can't wait to play it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there were a few things that we weren't able to pick up. Wingspan. Wingspan.
Wingspan.
Yeah, Wingspan. That sold out so fast. Our friend RV picked it up, though, so that I'm glad they got it. We did not. And we were really excited about Ecos, and I guess we just didn't understand that it wasn't out yet.
Yeah, so on Sunday they demoed it.
Yeah.
There wasn't anything about it until Sunday, and then I did talk to them, and they said it should be out at Essen and then out in stores later in the fall. I think they said also PAX Unplugged.
Yeah.
You can pick it up, so...
That was pretty cool, and it looked good from what we did watch it. What we did see from watching it, we'll probably go ahead in our local gaming store pick up a copy of that. As far as the things that we ended up just getting while we were there, we stopped by Broken Token again. So hi, Broken Token folks. We picked up a bunch of the drawers, the shelving drawers to go underneath our paint pot stands. And so we've got lots of extra storage there. And that was my impulse buy. There's really cool dwarven bars. There's small and large ones. And I thought it made a really cool sort of just paperweight.
Yeah.
And so it was an $8 impulse buy. So that was a pretty easy thing to go for. As well as you picked up Tiny Dungeon.
Yeah, picked up Tiny Dungeon. I've heard a lot about it, and we were talking to the folks at QDI, and they were sharing a booth with the designer of Tiny Dungeon. So I was like, well, I'm here. I've wanted to pick up this game and check it out, so this is the perfect opportunity. And he signed it.
That's pretty cool. We did grab Dead Man's Cabal. It looks really cool. It is a gorgeous looking box.
Oh, yeah.
So Terror Below definitely has a place of honor for the foreseeable future, but Dead Man's Cabal will definitely be going there. It looks great. It reminds me of the Biggie Smalls poster. If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about, which is pretty great. As well as I got a copy of like a Session 0, learn to play and start playing really quickly from Shadows of Esterin. I picked up a copy of the core book, or Tucker picked up a copy of the core book 6-7 years ago. The artwork is great. The world building is wonderful, and I've never played it. So hopefully that book will make it a little easier.
I swung through Artist Alley. I picked up a piece from the artist. I always get something from her at Gen Con. And then I also saw this cute little like cat playing with yarn that just like grabbed me across like an aisle. That I saw it and was like, I need this somewhere. I'll find some wall space. I don't know, we're running out of wall space, but so that was great. There were a couple of other artists there that I really liked, but I just wasn't sure where we could possibly put.
Yeah, there's a few artists that I love. I love seeing their work, but it's the kind of stuff that you buy that print and then you design the rest of your room around it. And so maybe someday, maybe someday we'll have a room full of Gen Con art. That would be pretty cool. As well as we walked away with a copy of Die Monsters, that maybe is how you say it. It's pretty cute. It's from, looking at least, it's from Pandasaurus. We got to chatting and they gave us a copy of that, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, we'll have to play that and review it.
Give it a play, do a review for that.
I also picked up some earrings. The Caesura sword from the Kingkiller Chronicles. I've been kind of looking for a long, thin, like silver earring, and saw those and was like, oh, this is perfect. Plus, I was wearing my Damage Dealer shirt that day, so it was like, well, I have swords on my shirt, so swords on my ears. Yep. This feels fitting.
And after we got home, Dawn surprised me with this adorable, just gorgeous looking Take This token that was made from the folks at Wormwood. So we finally have some Wormwood stuff. And it looks really gorgeous sort of on the creepy shelf, but it looks like it belongs there, even though it's definitely not creepy, and a really great organization.
And my last purchase of Gen Con, as I've done every year, was a pair of dice. These were from Chessex, and they kind of glow in the dark. They're more like blacklight reactive, I would say, than glow in the dark, but really cool looking dice, even in normal light. Editing done here. I forgot to mention I picked up the session notes refill pack for the Rook and the Raven. I was running low and very happy to have those to keep notes on my Warlocks game.
A smaller haul than what we've done in the past, but still a pretty good one, and a lot of stuff that we're absolutely excited to play. So what did you walk out of Gen Con with? Was this a big year for you or a more conservative one? What are you most excited about? Can't wait to see you talking about what you picked up in the comment section below.
So that's the stuff we picked up at Gen Con, but we had an amazing experience at this year's Gen Con.
Yeah.
We both ran games.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
How did you feel your games went?
I think my games went really well. My Savage Worlds sort of horror-themed game, which is a system that I really love, but I'm less familiar with. Or not familiar. I don't play it as much. And so that was one that I was a little bit nervous about. But my players were really great. I had a player that was a little on the younger side, probably maybe 14, 15.
Okay.
But Savage World was the only thing that they played, so it was really cool how much they bought into it. And then the rest of the table was a gaming group that they all played together, and they weren't as familiar with Savage Worlds, but they bought into it. It became sort of a horror comedy, but that's absolutely okay. They took big risks. The person that played the captain volunteered. They sacrificed themselves. So bought into that idea of take risks and allow yourself to play in a way that's maybe a little more challenging or dangerous than normal. We talk about that in one of our earlier videos, and maybe they watched our video because they were doing it. That game was set up that people could die and still keep playing, and so ultimately 4 characters survived and 4 characters were killed by all of the gross, creepy monsters. Including one of them being torn apart by young 8-year-old mutant monster things. It was a really creepy scene to get to narrate, and they narrated the way that they died, so that was a lot of fun. But then you kicked things off with your painting tutorial.
Yeah, the painting tutorial went really well. I had almost everybody had not painted before, and I had a couple people that had painted, but it had been a number of years, or they had only done one mini and felt like they didn't really know what they're doing. So kind of the core audience, I guess, for that class, which was an intro painting. And everybody did a really good job. Yeah. A couple of them, like, I was like, this is a fantastic first mini. You did a really great job. Everyone kind of picked up at least one new technique, it felt like, and walked away happy, and they have their first painted mini.
Yeah. After that, I ran 2 different sessions of Tales from the Loop. I had a great time. Both sessions were very different, and it's a game that I've run before, and now I've had players make kind of all of the choose your own adventure different choices. And so that's really fun. I think Tales from the Loop is what I'm going to stick with running as we go forward and run more things in the future. So if you like Tales, or if you have never played it before, then keep an eye out for us and what we're running, or at least me, and I'd love to have you at one of our tables.
Yeah, and then I had the Quiet Year
Mm-hmm.
and Crash Pandas. Both
Yeah.
went really well.
Your Crash Pandas table was right next to one of my Tales from the Loop, and they were having an absolute blast. It was ridiculous and so much fun to listen to.
It's such a fun, silly, goofy. I think it's a really good convention game. I mean, we were playing it at 8 a.m. on a Saturday, so
Mm-hmm.
everybody was
Yeah.
a little sleepy at first, but got bought in and like jumped right into the goofiness and chaos of that game. And then the Quiet Year, I really enjoy that game. Every time it's different because the players are creating the community and creating everything themselves. So I was there just kind of helping to mediate everything, helping with the rules. And one of
Yeah.
the players, I think, walked away saying that they were definitely going to pick it up because they had a blast and saw it as a great way to introduce their spouse to RPGs since it is such a kind of rules light game. So there's not a lot of stuff to try and read through and remember.
Yeah, absolutely. So Quiet Year, that residual check from that one single sale, that 2 cents, you can send that to. No, not kidding. We have to absolutely give a huge shout out and a thank you to m.a.m.s Gaming. They're based out of Chicago, and that's the group that we run with. We'll absolutely be with them moving forward, and would love to see you at some of our tables.
Yeah. And so, what besides running the games, what was your favorite part of Gen Con?
I mean, I think that my favorite part of Gen Con is meeting all of the people.
Yeah.
We got to do a meetup, which was kind of neat. And in hindsight, the fact that there was a Roll for Initiative meetup sounds a little bizarre. That was really neat, and so we enjoyed getting to meet all the folks from. Let's see, we saw Eric from Condition Nerd, and some of the Avalon Knights folks were there. Matt Gravlin, Mr. Matthew. We got to meet him earlier in that day, and we spent some time with the innies. It was just so much fun. I know I'm going to forget people that we hung out with. And then the next day, we got to do an interview with the demigods, and finally get to meet Joey and see RV again and Aram, and that was so much fun. And then hang out afterwards, a little more socially. That really every year, the best part, the best takeaway, the biggest haul for me is the people that we get to meet. And the fact that that grows every single year. Maybe next year you'll be a part of that meetup. That would be really cool. It's fun, but it's also super humbling, and I think that's my favorite part.
Yeah, everybody kind of geeked out over meeting each other.
Yeah.
And I know you mentioned it as we were driving up to the convention center. This year, like getting to the convention and walking around, like there was an element that felt like coming home.
Yeah. Yeah, we know the layout of the ICC so well now, and it's not just a familiar, like when we go to like amusement parks or things like that, where it's like, oh, we really like this place, we love to visit. There was a sense of coming home to Gen Con this year that was really,
and I think a big part of that is all of the people and just being like, I can be completely myself and relax, and it is like a recharging event.
Yeah,
I find. And
at least for me this year, and I really hope it was the same for you. This year I saw so much representation of all of the aspects of the people that are a part of this community in a way that felt much more visible and comfortable and safe, that maybe isn't at some other places or isn't in our day-to-day lives in the way that I wish that it was. But people feeling comfortable and safe was so prevalent this year.
Yeah.
And I certainly, I mean, I'm sure maybe there were a few things here and there that I didn't know about or I wasn't a part of for sure. But hopefully yours was representative and safe as well. That was a really great feeling to have. What are you looking forward to doing next year based on this year?
So I think next year I'm definitely going to run at least one, if not maybe do a second of the introductory painting. That was really great. I enjoyed it, and I think especially that's one thing that I know talking to the folks at m.a.m.s, they were noticing there was a kind of lack of those introductory classes. Yeah. So getting more people comfortable with, hey, you don't have to be a expert level painter to have some really cool minis, or to get into that just as a like, I enjoy this. It might not be the best looking mini, but it can be a really fun part of the hobby.
Yeah. What are you looking forward to? And other than just the hall, what was your favorite thing about this year? Is there anything that made Gen Con feel different or extra special for you in 2019? I would love to hear about that as well.
Mm-hmm.
A big thanks to all of our patrons, and especially to Tucker. If you want to support our channel, you can head over to our Patreon page and check out the perks of being a patron.
Until next time, I'm Dawn.
I'm Ryan.
And this has been Roll for Initiative.
Bye.
Bye.